just is a funny clip,
Me know, man, but
we are talking about in reality.
The Cut, brought to you by Flow.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Sports should be fun. Sports should be interesting. Sports should be entertaining. Sports should be riveting. This is CVM Sports. I'm Jordan Fort.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at Noon for Tuesday, April 15, 2025. I'm Courtney Lewis. Thanks so much for joining us. The opposition People's National Party is ramping up its criticism of the government, calling for the return of key oversight bodies and outlining plans to better support local farmers. At a recent party meeting in Westmoreland, General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell accused the administration of dismantling accountability institutions while offering proposals of his own. Courtney Lewis has more. The People's National Party is calling for the government to reinstate the office of the political ombudsman. The party's General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, accused the government of tearing down regulatory institutions.
It can't be that I am questioning the electoral office of the country. Can't be. Because then that's the recipe for chaos and disaster. So that's a part of the reason why we need to get rid of this government, because they are tearing down the institutions that Comrade Patterson, for the most part, put in place to ensure that Jamaica move away from the tribal politics.
He says the GOJ has also sought to tear down the Integrity Commission, referring to the lawsuit filed against the Integrity Watchdog. Meanwhile, no new taxes is one selling point for the government, but the opposition is outlining their plan to put the recently proposed food import tax to good use.
What the importers pay now, no new tax. What they pay now, we are taking 2.5% of that. And that will come to $2.5 billion Jamaica. That money we are going to use to do some things to benefit our local farmers.
He says the PNP will also place harsher penalties on predial larceny.
Come and thief your local 15 goat around your yard. And them have one Mark X park up in a film yard. We are going to sell the Mark X and give you back the money if you go buy back your 15 goat. We are going to ensure that the criminal doesn't stay with the benefit, but that we return the farmer to the state that they were in before the criminal entered their land.
The GenSec was speaking at a party meeting in Western Westmoreland Sunday evening. Kingston College celebrated 100 years of existence with a march through sections of the city. The institution had a commemorative ceremony hosted by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the KSAMC, reenacting receiving the keys to the city. Principal Dave Myrie received the key and says he looks forward to continued work and positive impact in grooming the nation's young men.
This is part of our centenary celebration. We're having a parade through the city of Kingston to just recognize 100 years of existence at Kingston College. The other thing that we did, we stopped here by the municipality to collect the keys to the city, a symbolic key. And for us, to be honest with you, we received it years ago, but they decided again to actually give us another ceremony with the keys on our 100 year. Champs was a bit of a bonus, I would say. Manica was a bit of a bonus. But in spite of Manica and Champs, we'll still be doing our parade, because for any organization population to get to 100 years, it's a big thing. And Casey has over 100 years been educating youngsters from areas that, believe it, other persons may not necessarily want to turn into GEM.
Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, was also delighted to share in this milestone with the institution.
Kingston College has always been a significant role in Kingston. They are one of the premier institutions that we have, and they have excelled both in the classroom and on the field. No, it's not my former school. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I did it out of respect for, and within the spirit of acknowledging that Kingston College has played a role in the city of Kingston.
PNP councillor for the Mucko division in Clarendon, Romain Morris, says he's fed up with begging for water on behalf of his constituents. Morris says residents have been without potable water for over a year and warns that if the issue isn't urgently addressed, he'll be joining residents in protest.
Residents in Mucko are frustrated because persons in Goshen can't get no water, persons in Whitechapel, persons in Eden, persons in Dartmouth. Chairman, I asked NWC about 6 months ago, and every month from then, what's the update, what's going to be done to the system at Goshen. The chairman, to this day, there is nothing at all being done. The chairman, the residents are planning to demonstrate. And I would wrong them, Mr. Chairman. All right, so today is my final time I'm going to come here and ask for it, right? Because I myself will be on the road demonstrating.
There's more money on the table in St. Elizabeth, and local government minister Desmond McKenzie wants the municipal corporation to go after it by teaming up with the Tax Administration of Jamaica, the TAJ. Shante McNeil explains.
St. Elizabeth's tax collection target was surpassed in 2024, but is not representative of the capacity for property taxes. That was the word from local government minister Desmond McKenzie, who addressed the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation's monthly meeting in Black River last Thursday, part of his 2-day working tour in the parish. He's urging the corporation to deepen its partnership with Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, to tap into the full potential of property tax revenue.
And it's important that the new season, which started out a couple of days ago, that the efforts of the municipality be doubled to ensure that you work closely with TAJ to improve significantly above where you ended in the last financial year.
Minister McKenzie also challenged the corporation to raise the bar in service delivery, reminding local authorities that the people of St. Elizabeth deserve the best.
It is important that we respond when persons make concerns or complaints about situations. Even if we can't respond in terms of dealing with it, that persons feel comfortable that, yes, I send a message to the MC about a road or a park or something, I have gotten a response from them. Local government, as I have always said, is at the front and center of every aspect of the daily lives of the Jamaican people.
Shante McNeil, CVM News.
We take a break. Stay with us for a discussion segment.
So you would have take a call while crossing a busy street? You would have zoned out while driving through Alpha Tree? I know say you definitely would have sent a text while climbing Don River Falls. So why you do it when you cross the road? Stay alert, man. Every step matters. Pedestrians, look out before you step out. A message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
Thanks so much for staying with us. It's time now for a discussion segment. As the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica marks its 40th anniversary, the spotlight turns to the evolving role of the Justices of the Peace in the nation's justice system. How relevant is the JP in modern Jamaica, and how effective can the JP be in community service and restorative justice? Joining us to explore the milestones, challenges, and the future direction of these vital public servants is Miss Paulette Kirkland. She's the Vice President of the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica. Welcome to you.
Thank you so very much for having us.
So, as the association celebrates its 40th anniversary, what are some of the most significant milestones or achievements that stand out to you over the years?
You know, I'm very happy that you asked us that question, because we have been working tirelessly to ensure that we continue to provide good governance. But some of the most outstanding one would be when we got the government to accept to change the court's name from Petty Session to the Magistrates Court. Another one is where we, with other stakeholders, lobby for the provision of an official seal with a unique letter that designate which parishes is. Now that we've gone to Justices of the Peace of Jamaica, well, that may be a little different now, but we still have those numbers because you have to be sworn in a parish. So those are still there. The other one is where we've had the general populace of Jamaica in all the parishes, because we have chapters in 13 parishes, accepting April as Lay Magistrates Association month. And we've also been able to get the most important one in one of those is the training before commissioning. In the past, as a Justice of the Peace, you would just have been conferred. There would have been no pre-training, but there's training for the Lay Magistrates Courts, there's training for the drug court, and so that was very important. And these trainings are done by the Justice Training Institute of Jamaica. And we always have members going there, and when they're coming in, now there's a training even that is specific to sitting in the Lay Magistrates Court. So those are but few of the most significant things we've done over this 40 years.
Wonderful. But what are some of the challenges that JPs are currently facing, and how is the association helping to address these challenges or mitigate them?
All right, so we have worked with the custodies. We continue to work with the custodies, wherein they have found Justices of the Peace that are charging, as we are all aware, and it's something that we preach and we practice every day. Justices of the Peace are there to offer their services free of cost. So we've worked on special committees with the custodies to what we call a disciplinary committee. We have been ensuring that training in trafficking of persons, trafficking of children, child diversion, mediation, restorative justice, in collaboration with the custodies. And we just concluded our project LMAJ, are brought to not just Justices of the Peace, but social organization, community organization, churches, and schools.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because my next question was, is there more room for JPs to support or even lead restorative justice initiatives in Jamaica's justice system, especially in communities affected by violence or crime among youth?
Yes, you know, because we want to go back to that circle, I think they call it Ubuntu, that circle where we can get people sitting down and talking about things. And since August of last year, we've been working with the Ministry of Justice, and to aid that situation, we've had 50 of our lay magistrates being registered to become RJ facilitators. During this Social Just UNDP project that we just concluded also, we have trained over 80 persons, lay magistrates, Justices of the Peace, guidance counselors, church organizers, service organization personnel. So yes, there is a role that we can play, and we continue to play. We are the Justices of the Peace. We are the person that community members look up to. And so we have to engage with them to ensure that they understand it is not about fighting it out, but it's about talking it out. And how we communicate makes a big difference.
All right, thanks so much. Stay with us. We are still in our discussion segment, but we'll just take a quick break.
The time is brought to you by Ford Territory.
All right, we're still in our discussion segment and welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, we're talking with Miss Paulette Kirkland. She's the Vice President of the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica, and we're discussing restorative justice and JPs. Now, how can citizens best make use of the services of a JP, and what rights or protections do they have when they interact with the JP?
Want to say what's the rights and protection does the justice of the peace have? But citizens, but let me do the first part of your question first. They are able to interact with us because on the Ministry of Justice website, we are listed there. All justices of the peace are listed on the Ministry of Justice website. And so it is done by parish. I think that we also have our emails there so they can communicate with us. But you know, sometimes justices of the peace are faced with a peculiar position in that I know you as Jennifer, and we went to school together, and I called you Jennifer, and then when I'm to do an affidavit on your behalf, I'm realizing now that you're not Jennifer. Now, that is something that as justices of the peace, what protection, and there are several instances that have gone in the court where the justices of the peace have verified, validated that this person is so, and that is because that was whom they knew them as. And we know that in the past, sometimes the registration of children were not done as they ought with the names that were put on it, you know, deed poll or whatever had to be used to change it. But as it relates to the rights, you have a right to be respected by the justices of the peace. But you also have to respect the justices of the peace right to know that it is not at 10 o'clock that you'll knock on the door unless it's a dire emergency. So you also need to respect that type of a space. And the rights are that you are not supposed to be charged. There's not supposed to be a pan put down on the person that you so put something in this. There's supposed to be nothing of that kind when you are interacting with a justice of the peace.
So there have been calls for modernization in many areas of justice. Do you see the JP system evolving in any way to meet these new demands?
Yes, and we are having to contend with how you use IT, AI. How do you look about what is happening far and wide with trafficking? How does the legislation impact? The LMAJ is a member of the Commonwealth Judges and Magistrates Association. So we need to ensure that those connectivity globally are there so we can learn best practices and we can continue to be relevant in the changing with the various laws and legislation. So training is very important to keep us more relevant. The use of technology, how we use technology in what we're doing, and the scope of our responsibility. Because currently you are a Justice of the Peace for Jamaica, those that are coming in now, but then there is still some restriction. So the conversation continues with the Minister of Justice, because we also have a program wherein the executive of the lay magistrates have quarterly sessions with the Minister of Justice to discuss a lot of different things.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on 40 years. That was Mrs. Paulette Kirkland, Vice President of the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica. In international news now, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said there was a good chance a trade deal could be reached with the United Kingdom. The global stock market has been rocked by turbulence since April 2, after U.S. President Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs on nearly every country. We have more from the BBC.
Vice President J.D. Vance has raised hopes of a UK-US trade deal. Mr. Vance said that the Trump administration wanted an agreement that would serve the best interest of both countries. It's understood that any deal would focus on more than just lowering tariffs and cover elements of trade in both goods and services. Well, UK government sources have suggested that recent talks with the US on a trade deal have been making good progress. Here's our North America correspondent, David Willis.
This was J.D. Vance's first major interview with a European outlet since he took office, and in it he made clear the Trump administration's affection for the UK government and its royal family in particular, and he made